Ah, get on with it, quick buttocks, he muttered aloud, just to break the ponderous silence. He forced himself in. The black walls of the secret passageway glistened with trickling water and slime by torchlight. Shadows cast by the flame made fantastical shapes that writhed across the sharp-knuckled fists of rock. Beyond the sphere of his torch's glow, all was black, but somewhere far above him, he knew, his enemy was congratulating himself at a ball he had thrown in his own honor. Lazar could barely wait to wreck the party. Soon the tunnels would admit him inside the sealed city walls, under all of Monteverdi's painstaking efforts at security. After half an hour's laborious hike up the steep grade, the tunnel branched, the left fork leveling out, while the right continued upward until, he knew, it reached the cellars of Belfort, the fallen castle on top of the mountain. He would like to have seen the old place, but there was no time for sentimentality. Without hesitation, he took the path to the left. At last, cool tendrils of fresh air trailed against his cheeks, and the upward slant of black ahead became a diamond-dusted midnight blue. The torch hissed as he extinguished it in a small primordial pool collecting water from the leaking walls. In darkness, he crept up to the tunnel's narrow exit. A formidable macha made up of thorny vines and weeds hid the cave entrance from the outside. His heart began to thud as he picked his way out of the brambles, trying not to make any noticeable rift, until at last he stepped out into the clearing. He slipped his curved Moorish knife into his belt, moving slowly, welling with a kind of wonder as he emerged. Unaware he was holding his breath, he stared about him. Home. Everything was tinged with silvery moonlight. The terraced fields, the olive orchards, the vineyards, the orange grove on the next hill. Fine earthy fragrances ribboned through the night breeze to him. And here behind him, the solemn old Roman wall still stood, its great stones hoary with moss, protecting the heart of the kingdom as it had for 1,000 years. Memory sighed through the chinks in the rock. We are the cornerstone, boy. We, the Fiori, never forget. He took a few faltering steps forward, surrounded by the music of the fields, of crickets and frogs, with the soughing of the surf in the distance, just as it had been forever. His heart wrenched, and for a moment he closed his eyes, tilting his head back, remembering all too clearly things he could not bear to face again. A cool breeze crept over the landscape, stirring the leaves on the vines until the whole orchard, the citrus grove, the grasses, murmured to him like the voices of beloved ghosts sweeping out of their haunts to greet him, lost generations of dead kings and queens. They rose and floated in spires above him, urging him on with ghost whispers. Avenge us. Yes. He opened his eyes that suddenly blazed with muted pain made into rage. One man alone was to blame for stealing the life that should have been his. He had a score to settle, by God, and that was the only reason he'd come. He had no further business in this place. Signore the governor had seen to that. But now the Don would pay. Legend said it was not on Sicily, not on nearby Corsica, but here on this isle that the ancient tradition of la vendetta had been born. Monteverdi would soon come to know it. The waiting, the scheming, the biding his time for a full 15 years would be over. By dawn, he would have his enemy in his grasp to mete out to him the measure he deserved. He would slay his kin, take his life, lay